Good day. It's that day again. You're here with Brothers Crossing. We're here to make it a great day. I am Roro. I'm here with my bros, Nando and Cub. What's up, gentlemen?
How are you?
Good.
I feel like I just saw you.
And you might have just seen me.
I might have just saw you.
What's up over there, Thug Life, Nando?
Man, we're hanging in there. We all started. You know, you always got to have the scary monsters.
Where did you get that?
You got to have the scary monsters.
Where'd you get it?
Where'd you get
Who's
that?
your favorite scary monster? I'm not telling you. You ain't copying me. So who's your favorite monster?
Herman Munster.
Okay.
Hey, dog. I'm old school. So today,
I would say
we'll come back. We're gonna circle back to that.
we'll come back to that.
So today is this is episode 3. We starting to get our legs under us. I hope you still tune in. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you want to support our Facebook page, we're at DFN Brothers Crossing on Facebook. We hope that you take a look at that, and we'll have all our podcasts there. And to get our show started, let's start again with our today's tidings. What's today's tidings today? We're going with Nando. You got a story for me or something that happened over the last couple of days that you caught your ear or eyes?
The only thing that caught my attention was the fact that ICE is trying to get individuals to sign up to become an agent. They're offering $50,000 as a signing bonus, and your salary will be 6 figures. That's, I believe, the word is desperate. Is in the
I heard 100,000.
Oh, you heard 100,000?
I heard 100,000 sign-on bonus.
Okay.
You know who Dean Cain is? The old Superman series from...
Yes, Dean Cain. I know.
He allegedly is signing up in some honorary fashion or whatever to be an ICE agent.
Well, he hasn't acted in anything good in a while, so I think he probably needs the money.
He might need to go.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I haven't seen his face on TV in a while, so yeah.
Probably needs to call Tyler Perry.
Brother needs some...
Yes, he does. What's your
couple things. Super sad for Tommy Fleetwood. The guy just cannot win a tournament.
So you're talking about the PGA golf.
PGA Tour, this English fella who's been runner-up several times. Last couple times he's been in the lead. He's been in the lead ahead by a couple shots going into the last 2 or 3 holes and blows it. It happened again over the weekend in the FedEx playoffs. He was up by 2 with 2 to play, and he blew it.
And he finished second, or did he?
He finished second. He was super positive about it. No, he was third because there was a playoff. But he's super positive, like, hey, I know I'm getting close. He says he'll be disappointed, but he doesn't dwell on it. He's like, onward, just keep moving forward. Good positive attitude, but.
Okay. Well, he got paid. I'm sure he got $1 million or something.
Yeah, he's got a couple bucks.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, I guess today I found out when I got home that our president federalized the D.C. police and activated 800 guardsmen to make D.C. safer.
Okay, I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work out. But that's it.
Have they not watched The Wire? You gonna need more than 800 people to come in and save D.C. Come on now.
But that was just news of the day that caught me. We can talk about that later at some point.
Yeah, my today's tiding for me, there's a couple things. One, shout out to my graduating class, high school graduating class. We had our reunion. It was good to see everybody. Want to shout out everybody there.
How many decades?
Yeah, well, a lot of decades. It's 40. Yeah, and then 2 things about AOL dial-up going away. September 30th, they're ending AOL dial-up service.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
Apparently they had like 160,000 customers still on dial-up.
Wow.
They're no longer going to support it. But, it's kind of like the thing we grew up in. You got mail, all that stuff. Yeah.
That was the beginning of our internet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing is on August 30th, New Edition Day in Boston. They're gonna name a street after them. This group has been together for 40 years. They were originated in 1979 out of Roxbury, Massachusetts. So they're going to name a street for them. And I thought that was interesting because I'm a big fan. I think they missed. I should have been part of the group, but I got cut out tryouts, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you should have been in the group with your dance moves.
The member that never was.
that's right. I can make a documentary on that one.
Like the Forever Beetle that we didn't know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, the fifth Beatle.
Yeah. So, but that's today's tiding, and so I'm gonna throw it over to you, Cov. You got some things happening on this show today that both Nando and I are curious about. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, appreciate it. So we're older school, obviously. That's the whole premise of this show, and trying to cross over new generation, younger generation. But I have we're popping our cherry on our first guest today. Okay,
Wow.
we're popping our cherry again.
I mean, cherries.
So this person, actually, you both may know this person. This person is a college graduate, got a degree in biochemistry.
Wow.
He's a family guy that is constantly in expansion mode, and another expansion on the way. He's a funny, witty guy.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I think you'll find he's funny and witty, but super smart. There's a lot of big brain people I've come across in my lifetime. He's one of them. Next to you, gentlemen. He also happens to be the president and general manager of a team in our league. Roll motherfucking Tide. Guys, it's Lucas Russell.
No.
Come on, Lucas.
Hey, fellas.
You know the draft's not for another 3 weeks, right?
I know.
I was getting ready to pick out my outfit today, and I thought, man, what could I really get under Neil's nails with?
Yeah, you got
I'm repping the Broncos today.
funky Bronco jersey on. That's okay. That's okay. Lucas happens to be a big crypto guy, which he does mining of crypto.
Wow.
He's a Doge guy, and he'll kind of tell you all about that. I got a lot of questions for him, but the first thing that comes up.
Can we give Lucas first full name? Lucas
Russell.
Russell. There we go.
The first question I have, and I think it's probably what we think about, why people of our generation should even be involved in cryptocurrency. We're probably, and the other guys can correct me or they can fill in, but we're fairly traditional stocks, bonds,
Mutual
typical
fund,
retirements,
whatever,
mutual funds, that kind of thing. But why should we be involved in crypto? Lucas,
before you get started real quick, for our fans who are out there who are similar like me, who have no clue what you're about to talk about, so if you could take a step back and just give us your brainstorm, how long you've been doing it, what got you involved. So just bring us along with you, with your expertise, why you got excited, how long you've been doing it, and then you can go into Cov's question if you don't mind.
Definitely. So I started in crypto back when I was in college. It was probably my second year. I'm going to say it was 2017. It was a pretty poppin' year for the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin had a pretty meteoric rise in price. But what I was doing at the time was actually Forex trading. So trading on the foreign exchange with a buddy of mine. We kind of had we called it the lunch money fund. So we'd put like $100 in it for the week and we'd trade it. I lost all my money. I had no money to go out to eat for lunch. Whatever I made in excess, I got to store away into an extra pot. And so that's where I started dabbling in trading currencies. And it became quickly apparent to me that there was this new thing called a cryptocurrency, which in terms of you had, for the most part, I was trading between, the dollar and the pound, the dollar and the euro. And so it wasn't too much of an extension for me to look into trading between the Bitcoin and the dollar and things like that. So that's where I really got my feet wet. At the time, it wasn't the market that it was today. There were probably, I'm going to say, 4 major players. It was Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, and Ethereum. Were kind of the 4 most prominent crypto assets at the time that I got into it. And I invested in all of them, and I started to love the tech more than anything. One of the things about Bitcoin is it really feeds on our drive of greed. So everyone likes to talk about the scarcity of an asset. And what that really means is you have greed in the market. Everyone wants to own something that is valuable to others. And I had just graduated college, had started working full time, and was just really more of an investor at this point. 2019 came around, and I started getting back into it again. We had kind of the low of the market at the time, and prices were starting to go up. And I was able to convince my wife to invest a pretty sizable sum, a lot more than the, few $100s I had been gambling when I was in college.
wow.
And that's really what kickstarted off my love for the cryptocurrency market. To me, it's no different than any other asset out there.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna jump in and ask you a question. So for us, our money is like our cash in the bank is FDIC insured.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's taking a commercial break and he'll be
You
right
must
back.
be.
So until he
I,
gets
I,
back, we'll go to.
I
Thank you
think
for that introduction.
FDIC grabbed his microphone.
Yeah, he did. No, thanks for that introduction. But an individual like me, I missed the Bitcoin. Call us
guys.
back.
Yeah. Okay. We got you back.
Did you
Okay,
guys
go ahead,
hear
Cub.
all that like feedback, audio feedback?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but sorry guys,
Okay.
I'm back.
Go ahead. All
Go
right.
ahead,
You were
ask your
talking about
question.
FDIC.
Well, yeah, what I was gonna say, our money's it's federally backed. Federal deposit insurance. Our cash is backed. Maybe Rod could speak to mutual funds,
I don't
that
know.
stuff. I mean, I don't know if that stuff's backed or not, but our cash in the bank is federally insured. What is crypto backed by?
So the backed by is an interesting question. What I believe you're talking about is the protection you have from losing your money, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
if we go all the way back to the beginning of banking, you had Wells Fargo played a critical role in storing gold and moving gold about the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I had amassed a large amount of gold, it's not safe for me to store it in my house, right? Because someone could come break in and steal all my gold. And you can make the same argument with cash. So it's not really safe, although some people do, to store thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars of cash in the walls of your house or wherever you want to in your house. You're safe, etc. So
But what about
in
in the
order-
bank? What about in the bank?
the interesting thing about banks is how secure is your money. So it leads me to the question that I would put forth to you guys. Let's imagine you had $1 million in the bank account and you're traveling to Europe and you find a house that you want to buy. Let's imagine you're retired or you're at a period in your life where you could just upend, buy a house in Italy and continue out the rest of your life. Now let's say, how do you get that money? You're in Italy. How do you get your $100,000 to a home seller in Italy? You either have to walk into your bank and request $1 million, which they're never going to give you. And not only that, once it's more than $10,000, they're going to ask you what's it for, and they might not give you your money. So what I can do, current price of Bitcoin is over 100,000. I can fly with my Bitcoin anywhere in the world and spend it on a dime. So I have liquid money. It's the evolution of gold in the sense that I don't have space that I have to store gold in. I can store my Bitcoin either in a secret phrase in my head. I could write it down on a piece of paper. I could travel with a wallet of some sort. Or if you have a cell phone, that's all you need to carry your money around with you all the time. Now, you are at risk because you have the freedom to do whatever you want with your money. You have the risk of losing it. And that is a giant risk. But as the crypto market evolves, they're getting better at onboarding new users and allowing easier seed phrase storage. So your seed phrase is actually what people talk about when they talk about your wallet or your cryptocurrency. So a Bitcoin is essentially like a unit of value in the Bitcoin ledger. So it's just a ledger, a global ledger that I have an address with some amount. And in order to spend that some amount, I have to sign a transaction with my secret. And as long as I'm the only one who knows my secret, I'm the only one who can spend it. And I can spend it anywhere in the world, and no one can tell me I can't spend it.
Let me ask you a question. Is the reason that Bitcoin is going through the roof the way it is because there's just a limited amount that's in the market, or is it more people are running to it? I'm not running to it. I don't know about the other guys, but it just seems to have this historic run. I think it broke 120,000 a week or two ago. I mean, it's just crazy, and
Yeah.
it's like it's just air.
Yeah.
It's just air. It's not like you can go and withdraw a coin from an ATM machine, and walk around and, hey, it's worth this much, you can give me cash for it. It's just air. And that's the part for us in our generation is like, why would we even entertain that? Is it where our money's going? Is the ultimate end game that our paper money that we like, that's tangible to us, goes away completely and it's all digitalized? I mean, is that something you see happening later on, or what's your thoughts on that?
I hope not. I am not a proponent of central bank digital currencies, of digital money, because of the control that it allows governments to have over your daily spending. You can look at China right now. China has their own digital currencies, and based on your social credit score, if you've said something provocative on your podcast, the government can come and shut down your spending capabilities. I'm totally against it, and I don't necessarily see a place or a time in America where we would transition to having a government central bank digital currency. I do think we'll have some of them. You'll start to see them roll out over the next couple years, I would imagine, but they'll be very institutionalized. Like JP Morgan. JP Morgan might have its own digital currency, but you'll have institutions run them as opposed to the government in the United States, is my opinion. And then to get back to your point, the governments of the world will never stop printing money. So it goes back to that scarcity argument. No matter what, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. And whether we're talking about the US government printing dollars or the government in Tanzania printing a Tanzanian dollar, I don't know what their currency is, but any country around the world is allowed to print their own currency. They have a monopoly on the money printer. And so let's say here in America, we don't hyperinflate, which we are. Let's look at like the Mexican peso. So all it takes is for the Mexican peso to inflate and people in Mexico to choose a different option than holding a Mexican peso, like a Bitcoin. And all of a sudden that helps hold up the market.
Well, I mean, the US dollar, back in until the early 70s was backed by gold. The Nixon administration did away with that. And now it's the full faith and credit of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Because we all have full faith in the U.S. government.
Can I take a step back? Because we've been throwing a lot of words around. And for an older generation like us, like Cut was saying, like we know a dollar, we know a mutual fund, we know stocks are bottom. So I'm throw some words at you, and you tell me what it means. What is blockchain?
Yeah. Okay, so the blockchain is this ledger that I'm talking about.
Getting into, Lucas's wheelhouse here.
So if we can all come on a basic understanding of what a ledger is, it's just an account book, right? That you have this account and it has this much money or this much tokens associated to that account. So what the blockchain is it's that ledger moving through time. So as time progresses, we have people using this ledger to send money back and forth. And when it updates the ledger, we call that a new block. And so if we all started out here and Neil had $1, Nando had $1, we all have $1, and this is block 1. And Neil sends his to Nando. On the next block, Nando has 2, Neil has 0, and you and me have 1. And so that's how the block moves through time. Now, in order to do that securely, that's where we get miners. So miners contribute computational power, big, expensive, they're called ASIC machines, and those run algorithms using a tremendous amount of energy to find a hash. Now, this might be a little kind of too technical.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, okay,
runs
we're
an
getting deep
algorithm.
now. We're getting deep.
So it's in an algorithm, and you're mining, trying to figure out the algorithm. What?
So
guess I'm not.
yeah, these algorithms, they produce a hash, which is like a string of random numbers.
Okay.
And there's a for that next block, there's a specific hash that's random that everyone's trying to guess. And if you guess the right number, you get the rewards for the block. You get the mining rewards. So let's imagine this is the Bitcoin blockchain. You get, because you guessed the right hash, a Bitcoin for mining the block.
See, that shit just went.
I'm still trying to figure out Pokemon. Now you're talking about.
So imagine it like this. You have a bank's ledger, and from one day to the next, the bank has to operate certain functions, and energy and effort has to go into maintaining the bank's ledger. So whatever that operational cost is for the bank to move the ledger from one day to the next, there's a cost associated with it.
Right.
In a blockchain, we're giving, instead of having a bank take money to move the ledger, we're giving value to someone to secure the network, to move that ledger from this moment to the next moment in time. The one that verifies that Neil sent one of his to Nando.
Now,
Nando, are you over there? You got this, Nando? You following this?
I can see his
totally-
eyes glazing
I
over.
totally
But
So you talked about blockchain, which is a ledger. You talked about mining, and I don't know. Someone of my old school generation think I'm gonna have to put on a helmet with a light on and start, actually mining.
Yeah.
How would someone of our generation conceptualize that? I guess that's where I would struggle is like mining. Heck, I wouldn't even know where to start. Today I'm gonna start mining.
well,
If I
Lucas,
get off this podcast, what's gonna happen?
Lucas, you mine still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through that like we're in the third grade.
So my history of mining was I was sitting around, and I'm a Dogecoin fan. We can get into that later if we have time. But
Yeah.
Dogecoin is mined using merged mining. So you mine two coins, Litecoin and Dogecoin. So at the time when I bought my miner, the price of those coins were pretty high. And I was looking at something I could spend my profits on. And I said, this sounds like something fun. So I dropped $16,000 on the the most capable miner at the time. And it had just been released. They get manufactured in China. I wish there were some that were manufactured in the US. And it took about 3 months to get this machine, and it's about the size of a computer. I then had to rig up two 220-volt power sources. So it takes 440 volts directly into this computer, and it sounds like a helicopter. It is just massively loud. It just like hums at this insane high frequency, and it does that 24/7. So I'm essentially converting electricity. I pay, it's about $400, maybe $500 a month in electricity just to run this computer. On the flip side, I've made back my 16,000. I make more than I pay in electricity. I'd say based on current prices, I make, $500 a month in profits from it. It runs 24/7. Now it's annoying because it's so loud, but I convert electricity into a different type of value, one that can appreciate is the way that I look at it.
Is that machine running in your office right now?
Nope. It is in Colorado, actually, in a warehouse.
In a warehouse.
So so we have our generations. We have our old generations who we're curious about cryptocurrency, but you see so many different types, ethos, altcoin, whatever, just a bunch of them. And then you just start explaining about, mining. So if you would say, and we're not giving any investment advice here, we're just talking in general.
we're all for broke brothers.
For an older generation like ourselves, why do we even need to look at cryptocurrency? I know that President Trump recently said, okay, we're going to open up 401ks to crypto and all these other things, but why would we as an older generation want to have it as an asset? I know, because I would not put all my stuff in crypto, but I'm just curious kind of what you think as a younger generation, why you think it would benefit our.
It's hard to refute the success that it's had. So you look at just like the last 8 years, if it can perform half as good, a quarter as good over the next 8 years, you've made a fantastic financial decision. So what I've found is these companies are starting to acquire Bitcoin on their balance sheets. So these large institutions are going to become huge holders and in a lot of ways I personally think price out retail or the little guys. Now, the only way that you get into that is through different investment vehicles now. You can still continue to buy it, but eventually it'll get owned by people with a lot more money than you and me. And you know, I'm under the opinion that Bitcoin will get to $1 million.
Wow.
It's just a matter of time.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I
matter
mean,
of
just some numbers that I looked at, let me go to the top of my page here and I'll share some of this.
Yeah, Nanda, you better go get your hard hat and gotta get your pick, boy.
No, because I would
Right.
like, I was going to ask him the question is, not the mining part, but for the individuals like myself who listen to you experts, who hear all this stuff, man, you missed the Bitcoin rave. It's too late for you to get in. Buying $100, $200 is not enough. You need to go to XRP. You need to go here, but we don't have anybody educating us what's right and wrong. So what advice would you give us individuals who are listening to the news, who are listening about this wave and kicking ourselves because we didn't get into Bitcoin? Now you're saying Bitcoin can go to $1 million. So they're like, well, can I buy one for $500? You may say, no, don't do it. I mean, we're not trying to give advice, but can you guide us to figure out for us people who aren't in it and live it? I think that's more of the question.
Yeah. So I personally think, and this is after my experience, and I wish I would have listened to my own advice. Daily cost averaging is the most successful way to enter, I think, the cryptocurrency market and probably any market.
Any market. I agree.
We are not good enough or lucky enough to time it right. So yeah, Bitcoin might be at $1 million, but it's still worth buying $100 a week because you're still going to capitalize on that
Right.
10x gain if it goes to $1 million. And whether, if you're putting in $100 a week, $400 a month, you are going to see over the period of 5 to 10 years that daily cost averaging X your portfolio. So that would be the reason why I think we don't ever get priced out because we still have access to it.
So what you're saying, what you're suggesting is for people to go get advice, advice from somebody who's in this and maybe do something where don't look at the number or how big it can go. Look at what you can invest in and take a look at it with the right education, whether it's an accountant or something like that. With all of these you're going to be talking about tonight. So yeah, I think Cub said Bitcoin was like 120 and you said, hey, you think it can go up to $1 million. So some people, you're saying don't get scared. Make sure you make the right decisions with somebody who's educated, like an accountant. Or did I get that wrong?
No, I definitely think, I've never used an accountant for anyone who's in traditional finance to give me advice in the cryptocurrency market. Now, I think everyone should do their own research in the sense of knowing the risk that you're taking. So this is a much more volatile asset than stocks and options and all of that. So I would say if you're investing, let's say it's $100 a week, be prepared that you might not ever see that $100 a week ever again. And like I'm a believer that you will, but there's all sorts of factors that I can't guarantee. Like I don't even feel that that there's a guarantee. We've had governments around the world try to strong arm the crypto market, and that didn't bring it down. We now have kind of a large movement to incorporate cryptocurrencies within governments, whether that's like a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Like once the US government starts custodying Bitcoin, and they already do, but in an official capacity, it's going to be very similar to how the United States government custodies assets like oil, gold, all of these things that we hold as a surplus because the US government says people find this valuable. Writing on the wall looks as though this is a much more secure long-term investment. But I've always thought that I could lose all of my crypto tomorrow.
Well,
And that kind of goes back to Neil's first question on who's insuring it. You
Right.
have to be
Who's
able to
backing
take that risk that your money might be gone. I can tell you I've lost thousands of dollars with many zeros or with a couple zeros past that due to just error on my side. I've always had enough money to where it didn't hurt too bad, but like I've lost $10,000 by sending a transaction wrong. That hurts.
God.
Yeah.
But see, that
hurts.
doesn't happen to us in regular banking. You just happen to send it to the wrong person. You know, you do something
Yeah.
goofy like that. But there was a Gallup poll that came out on in July. 14% of U.S. adults report owning Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Most others have no interest in it. They're buying it. View crypto as highly risky. Men 18 to 49, as in your group, are the most receptive, with 25% owning it. So you see, there's this big, like, generational gap. Younger generations jumping in on it. You know, well, it's super complicated. It's not backed. You know, what do we do? Do we just stay in our own lanes with traditional ways of?
Yeah. Well, I think for what I'm hearing, and I one of the most interesting things I was hearing from you, Lucas, is kind of defining what those terms mean, mining and blockchain, and I think there's something like staking, which well, we haven't touched on, but I think there's a regulatory component that it's developing. We don't know how. Earlier, Cov, you were kind of saying, how is it backed? How is it supported? We don't know. It's a developing regulatory landscape. And so there is really just like any other assets, I would think that you have, you can lose money. This is kind of the new property type of ownership thing you can have. And so I think with any portfolio, you would want to diversify and not just have to rely strictly on like crypto. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, I'm curious because we have different levels in investing. You can go direct crypto, you can crypto associated mutual funds or ETFs that, have a crypto base. I just don't right now. It's a word and I don't understand it clearly, but I think it's another type of asset that you own. And so I don't know if you don't just want to have cash in your like Lucas was saying, in your wall, or you just don't want to have gold stored in your garage, but you have crypto as another means of kind of balancing your portfolio.
You know who?
Again, thanks for listening, and make sure look both ways. Brothers Crossing. Night.
All right, see.